Yes guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today, welcome to my Game Week 26 Premier League predictions. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and let's get into the video. Before I do get into the video, I do apologise if the air fryer goes off. I'm cooking my tea, so yeah. Anyway, the first game is tomorrow afternoon at the Etihad Stadium. It's the early kickoff. Manchester City versus Newcastle. Now, Newcastle, heartbreaking defeat in the Carabao Cup final last Sunday by Manchester City's rivals, Manchester United. Casemiro and Marcus Rashford with the goals, winning Manchester United their first trophy since 2017. Manchester City, their last game, I should say, and it was a win. It was a 3-0 win in midweek as they beat Bristol City 3-0 to advance to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, and City do play Burnley. It's a big game for both teams. Newcastle want to get back into the top four. Man City, of course, they do play before Arsenal, so City need to win to put the pressure back on Arsenal. This will be a close game. Newcastle are a good team. I know United were the better side last week, but I still think Newcastle played alright. They created chances from the likes of Saint-Maximin and etc. Nick Pope is still suspended, but Martin Dubravka can play. Obviously, Martin Dubravka couldn't play last week because he was cup-tied. So Dubravka can play this week, which is kind of good-ish for Newcastle. This is going to be a tight game. Manchester City want to win. Newcastle want to win. Obviously, last time they played each other, it was 3-3 at St James's Park. I remember watching that game because I remember I smashed my laptop. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But I think that the rematch and the game that happened at St James's Park, that's up there for game of the season. I have to be honest. But yeah, prediction: it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to back Manchester City. Manchester City 2, Newcastle 1. 2-1 to Manchester City. Okay then, and the next game is Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Now, Arsenal, of course, they did win in the week. They beat Everton 4-0. Bournemouth losing to Manchester City. Bournemouth losing to Manchester City. And great for Bournemouth fans. You lose to Man City, and they check who they got next. Arsenal. I feel bad. But Arsenal, they really should be winning this game. No offence, Bournemouth fans. I've said this most weeks, but you're absolutely dog. I have to be honest. Bournemouth, their team isn't really a Premier League team. I think it's more of a Championship squad, in my opinion. They've got players from the Championship. Marcus Tavernier, he's not Premier League. Mark Travers, he's not Premier League. Arsenal, they've got this in the bag. Absolutely battered Everton, and they're going to batter Bournemouth. Arsenal 5, Bournemouth 0, 5-0 to Arsenal. Okay then, and the next game is Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace at Villa Park. Now, this is a bit of a mid-table battle. Villa and Palace, both mid-table. And to be fair, both having a decent season. Aston Villa beating Everton last week. Crystal Palace drawing 0-0 with Liverpool. I did see the highlights of the Everton-Villa game whilst I was watching Leeds versus Southampton. And to be fair, both teams, especially Everton looked the better team. Looking at the amount of chances they created, but Villa got a penalty which was scored by Watkins, and I think Emiliano Buendia scored Villa's second goal. To be fair, Villa, I always kind of back them at Villa Park, and it's because of the atmosphere. Villa Park is a fortress, to be honest. Whether if it's against teams like Palace and stuff, and whether it's against teams like Palace or even when it's against the big teams, your Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea. The atmosphere at Villa Park is incredible. You know, and to be fair, Unai Emery's got a good record since he came in. This will be a really close game. You know, Villa and Palace are two great sides. Villa have got, you know, Ollie Watkins is on fire. They've got, who else have Villa got? They've got bloody Buendia, Martinez, and Palace. You know, got Zaha, Elise, Edward, Guaita, Mitchell. This is going to be a really good game, in my opinion. But I'm going to back Villa. Aston Villa 2, Palace 1, 2-1 to Aston Villa. Okay then, and the next game is Brighton versus West Ham at the Amex. Now, West Ham got a huge 4-0 win last week versus Nottingham Forest. A huge result. Danny Ings double. And I can't remember who scored. Whilst Brighton played in the week as they advanced to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup with a 1-0 win against Championship side Stoke. Last time on the Prem, Brighton. Oh yeah, Brighton didn't play because they were meant to play Newcastle, but Newcastle, of course, were in the Carabao Cup final. But yeah, of course, Premier League duties is back for Brighton. And to be fair, you know, big game against West Ham. West Ham's last game was a 3-1 loss against Manchester United, I should say. But they did beat Forest last week 4-0. Great result that is for West Ham, considering where they are in the Prem. And considering Forest are actually starting to get results. That's a massive win for West Ham. But, you know, this is going to be tough for West Ham. Brighton are a good team. You know, Brighton are... I can't remember where Brighton are in the Prem. Brighton are 8th at the moment. So Brighton... I don't know. Well, Brighton are 8th at the moment. For me, Brighton, they're not going to get Champions League, obviously. For me, I think Europa League is maybe... Well, to be fair, they are still in the FA Cup. And to be fair to Brighton, they've got a really good chance of getting to the final. Brighton have got a really good chance of winning the FA Cup this season. If there is any Brighton fans watching this video, would you rather win the FA Cup or focus on getting European football? If I was a Brighton fan, you know, I'd love to win the FA Cup, but it'll probably be against, you know, Man City or Man United, because come on, they're only the two good teams left. You know, I think Brighton do have a chance of winning the FA Cup. But to be fair, I think the majority of Brighton fans would say FA Cup, because come on, they haven't won a trophy in a long time. But you know, I don't know where Brighton. Also, to all of you guys watching, where are Brighton going to finish? You know, Fulham are doing good. Liverpool starting to do well as well. I don't know where. Are Brighton going to miss out on Europe? I just don't know. But back to this game now. You know, I think Brighton will win. But if West Ham show the fight like they did against Nottingham Forest, they could win this as well. But Brighton, I think they're going to win. It's going to be Brighton 3, West Ham 0, 3-0 to Brighton. Sorry. Okay then, and the next game is Banter FC versus Leeds. It is Chelsea. Chelsea Football Club, ladies and gents. They are dog. They are absolutely dog. They couldn't score past Fraser Forster. And he is crap. He is rubbish. I'm sorry, but Chelsea are so bad. And to be fair, this is a winnable game for Chelsea. You know, this is a winnable game for Chelsea. If Chelsea lose this, but I'm sorry, Potter has to go. And to be fair, even Chelsea fans have said weeks ago that Graham Potter should go. Graham Potter was doing well at Brighton, but I think it was maybe a bit too early for him to manage one of the big six. You know, Leeds did lose to Fulham, but that was in the FA Cup. I don't think Leeds fans would care. I actually watched Leeds' game last week with Southampton. And to be fair, in the second half, Leeds were absolutely brilliant. Leeds were absolutely brilliant. Brilliant second half. And, we'll speak about Southampton in a minute. But Leeds were absolutely fantastic. And for me, Chelsea, Chelsea, they are really not good at all. They're not good. They can't score. Chelsea cannot score. And the one problem that Chelsea had last week, they were 2-0 down. Chelsea, when they were drawing 0-0, Chelsea knew they needed to bring on a striker. Because on their bench, they had, I don't know who they had on the bench, they had like Aubameyang and stuff. And Chelsea were 2-0 down, and what does Graham Potter do? Brings on Aubameyang to try and get a goal when you're 2-0 down. What kind of idiot does that? Oh, let's bring on a striker when we're 2-0 down. Great idea. Oh, it's absolutely stupid. But Leeds, Leeds, they don't have the best record in London. But like I said, Chelsea have got to win this game. If they lose this, I don't know what to say anymore. But you know what? Chelsea are that awful, and Chelsea can't win a game, can't score. Leeds can play well against the big teams sometimes. So I'm going to back Leeds and go Chelsea 0, Leeds 1. 1-0 to Leeds. I've said it and I've called it. Clip it. It's going to happen. 1-0 Leeds, Rodrigo. Okay then, and the next game is Wolves versus Tottenham. Where do I start after that loss against Sheffield United? Where do I start? Honestly, the performance the other day was absolutely unacceptable. The performance was awful. The players just didn't care. And that was just an awful result. And we've got to bounce back at Wolves tomorrow. Wolves did beat Liverpool 2-0. I didn't watch the game. I was watching Tottenham, so I can't really comment. But Wolves, last week, Wolves, I did watch their game with Fulham. And to be fair, I'm not going to lie, that game was really boring. But Wolves looks okay in spells of the game. Sorry about that. Wolves look good in spells of the game. Sorry, I think that's done. Is that me? Is that Daniel Levy? Oh, I was not focusing. That guy looks like Daniel Levy. But yeah, anyway. Wolves, they looked okay. They played some decent football in bits of the game. But to be fair, the game was boring, like I said. But, this is a game we've got to win. Because, we've got Milan on Wednesday, which is a big game. Conte's back for as well, so we're probably going to lose anyway. But, Stellini, he's got a good Premier League record. Haven't lost in the Premier League. Haven't conceded in the Premier League. Wolves, like I've said it for weeks now. Julian Lopetegui's leading them in the right direction. This is going to be a really tough game for us after that result against Sheffield United on Wednesday. But I'll back us. It's going to be tough. But I'm going to go Wolves 1, Spurs 2. 2-1 Spurs. Okay, then the next game is Southampton versus Leicester. Now, Leicester, I actually watched their FA Cup game with Blackburn. And to be fair, Leicester were really poor until they got back in it. Blackburn absolutely outclassed Leicester, so fair play to Blackburn. Southampton, I watched the first few minutes of their FA Cup game with Grimsby. By the way, fair play Grimsby. Grimsby's near Hull, and Grimsby brought 4,000 fans for a Wednesday night at Southampton away. I have to say, that is absolutely class support there from Grimsby. So fair play. Fair play, Grimsby. But, Southampton, disappointing result for them. But they want to bounce back with a game against Leicester. Leicester also want to bounce back after that loss against Blackburn. Southampton, I did watch them last week. And to be fair, the first half was a bit 50-50. But the second half from Southampton, they looked like zombies. They really did. it was slow. It wasn't good enough from Southampton. Leicester, they are a good side. I think we all remember when Leicester battered Southampton 9-0 a few seasons ago. I don't think it'll be a 9-0, but I think Leicester will win. So I'm going to go Southampton 0, Leicester 2, 2-0 Leicester. Okay then, and the next game is Nottingham Forest versus Everton. A huge game down in the relegation battle. Everton losing last week. Forest losing 4-0 against West Ham. Disappointing result for Forest. Considering they've actually done well recently. But Everton, 4-0 loss against Arsenal. That was kind of expected because, come on, Arsenal are a fantastic team. It's a big game for both teams. Everton really need to step up. Everton really need to step up. This is a game that they've got to win. Everton is a game they've got to win. It's the same with Forest. But the atmosphere, like I said about the Villa game, the atmosphere will affect this game. Everton, they just want the ball to go. Forest will back their team. And I'm backing Forest to win 3-0. Forest 3, Everton 0. 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. Okay, then the next game, it is the game of the round. It is Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield. And what a week. But I still think that guy's Daniel. Let me mute the TV. Oh, but it was Daniel Levy. It was Daniel Levy's out in Bahrain. But yeah, anyway, back to Liverpool Man United now. Man United, it's been a good week for them. They won the Carabao Cup, into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Good week to be a Manchester United fan. Liverpool, they're slowly getting back on track. And this is a big game for Liverpool, because, one of my mates, Elliot, you may know him, saying we're going to get top. If Liverpool continue the form they're on, they might, but I just can't see Liverpool getting on the top 4, because, we're doing all right, but we'll probably fuck it up like we always do. Newcastle are doing well, Fulham are doing well, Brighton are doing well. I know Brighton are below Liverpool, but Brighton can still catch up to Liverpool. Man United, Man United are brilliant. Man United are so good. I hate to say it, but Marcus Rashford, what a player. Casemiro, he honestly carries that team. He really does. He's like Bentancur for us. He's just the gem. He's the gem of that team. He's just so good. This is going to be a really good game. Anfield will surely be rocking. This is a big game for Liverpool. If they want to get top 4, they've got to win this game. Man United, of course, want to win this game as well. It's going to be a cracking game, Players like Salah, Gakpo, Nunes have got to be on it. Van Dijk, Alisson, Trent, Robertson. It's going to be close. It could go either way. But I'm going to sit on the fence and go Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2. 2-2. Okay then, and the last game is West London derby, Brentford versus Fulham. This game could actually be a really good game, because Brentford are doing brilliant, Fulham are actually doing well. This could be a really good game, and to be fair play to Sky for putting this on the telly, because this is actually a decent game, I'm not going to lie. Brentford doing well. Brentford were meant to play last week, but they didn't. Because they were meant to play Man United. Brentford, their last game, they beat Palace 1-2-0. I think it was either 2-0 or 1-0. Fulham, to be fair, last week I don't think Fulham were that good in my opinion. So they've really got to step it up this week. And to be fair, Brentford haven't played in a week, so they'll be glad to be back. But yeah. This is going to be a good game in my opinion. Brentford, they'll really want to win this game. Fulham will want to win. Brentford are 9th. Come on, Brentford have a chance. Brentford, they can have a chance to get in Conference League. I'm not going to lie, they really can. you know, come on, Brentford, look at this. Brentford have what? Brentford haven't lost, sorry. Brentford haven't lost in their last 5. So that is really good. Considering Brentford, come on, that's really good. But Fulham, though. Fulham, 2, 4, 6, 7. Fulham haven't lost in their last 7. This game could go either way, but I'm going to go same prediction as Liverpool. Brentford 2, Fulham 2, 2-2. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash the like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.